Do I have everybody's attention now?
This is it, Josh! This is it!
Hello. It's a Tuesday afternoon. Very unorthodox for us at WrestlePoint, as we usually review Monday Night Raw and Dynamite together on Wednesday nights. But today we thought we would change it up a bit, try something new. We're, for the first time, thank God, directly on our YouTube channel, broadcasting live. I'm so happy about that. It took a while, but here we are. I'm very happy. This was actually a good episode of Raw. So a lot of unorthodox, unsurprising, actually surprising things happening in the wrestling world. So yeah, what do you guys think about this episode of Monday Night Raw?
Eric, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I'll go first. So I was watching Monday Night Football last night. I live just outside of Oakland, California. So I was watching the Raider game. So I watched Raw this morning. I went into it with a bit of a different mentality than I normally do. You guys know that normally I've got my notebook in front of me and I'm taking a bunch of notes on everything that goes on every segment, every match. I decided not to do that this morning. Because Raw, it's no secret that Raw is a bad show and it's very painful to sit through a bunch of nonsense. So what I decided to do this week, and we'll see if I keep doing it, but what I did is I said, if it doesn't interest me at all, I'm going to skip it. So I skipped through a lot of this, but I will say the stuff that I watched was good. There definitely was some really good things on this show, obviously, and then obviously like the main event, really fun moments there. But at the same time, there was also a bunch of classic Monday Night Raw garbage on this show. But I think of the ones we've reviewed, I guess you could say the highs were the highest of any of the ones that we've reviewed, but I still didn't like it at all.
I didn't mind it actually. I thought there was some good wrestling. It was actually a good. I would say this. It wasn't a good entertainment show. It was a good wrestling show. I feel like some of the matches were good. I like that. I know we're gonna get into more of it, but I like that Jeff Hardy is out of the 24/7 picture now a little bit. I guess he actually had a singles match, which was nice. Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, I really enjoyed. I'm kind of bummed that we're not getting it on a pay-per-view because I feel like it could have been a lot better, but I really enjoyed that. And then surprising women's things I liked in this episode that I usually don't like, so I'm just excited to get into it.
Yeah, and when you say that it's a better wrestling show, that's where your guys' opinions are going to differ a lot from mine because I skipped through a lot of the actual wrestling.
And I agree. This was, I would say, a good Monday Night Raw in terms of just in general. Like, this was a good show, but that's just my opinion. I don't know what your guys' will be, but we'll get into that. In the first segment.
Yeah, I'll have some final thoughts on it that are better kept for afterwards.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. So the first segment. This is one of the ones that I actually watched, and this was a really good. It's tough to when you're coming off of SmackDown's opening segment from last week. That was just phenomenal, but this was still a really good opening segment. So Big E hit the ring, and then Randy and Riddle come out, and then MVP and Lashley come out, and it just starts off. We get straight to the point. Big E's like, "I'm just here to let you guys know, I fully intend on cashing in my contract tonight." And then naturally you kind of get the three-way promos between the three groups, and I thought it was really good, except for when Riddle spoke. I thought everything, even Lashley, MVP is always fantastic. I thought MVP's promo was probably the best, but Lashley surprised me because his promo works usually pretty bad, but he had, I think, the line of the segment when he said, "Big E, if you come anywhere near me with that contract, I'm going to shove it so far up your ass, you're going to be able to taste the fine print." I thought that was awesome. So this was like, obviously they've been dropping hints since SmackDown that Big E's cashing in. So it wasn't necessarily surprising that that's what this whole thing was kind of centered around, but I thought this was a really good way to start the show.
I enjoyed it a lot. I think it was great. Everyone was on the A game, even Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle for me, it's coming around more. It's coming around more. I don't like the bro gimmick. I like his stupidness. Sometimes it makes me laugh, but I don't like the whole bro chant. That's just no. Other than that, I like the 4-year-old gimmick. I just wish he would get rid of the bro.
It's not a 4-year-old gimmick though. It's a stoner gimmick, but it comes off as a 4-year-old.
Okay. Okay, first off, the funniest part of this whole segment was MVP saying Randy, like Matt Riddle. It was so funny. I actually popped for it a little. It was just so funny. I actually disagree with Eric. I think Lashley's actually pretty good on the mic when he gets the chance to speak. It just feels important when he speaks, which I always love Lashley. I don't know what they're gonna do now that he's not the champion anymore. I don't know where this is gonna Is
Goldberg.
he gonna?
Now we can lose to Goldberg.
I don't know.
Good point.
I think they'll do the rematch at Extreme Rules regardless, which will be a fun match. It's two big dudes just throwing haymakers at each other. I like the segment. I love the Randy Orton says, I'm just Randy frickin' Orton. That's why I get the title match tonight. I like that they actually explain why they moved the match instead of saying, and not mentioning that it was supposed to be Extreme Rules at all. So I actually enjoyed that part of it. That they actually said what they were doing, why they did it. So it actually made sense a little bit. That's all I have. It was a good segment.
All right, let's move on then.
I do want to say before we move on, this is just me being annoying and looking at too many small details. When Randy was making his entrance, they showed a sign in the crowd that was like a
God,
yeah,
Eric.
and it said RKO, but then it said a Randy knockout. And that irks me to my core that people think it stands for Randy Knockout. It doesn't.
How is it the Raw's fault?
It's a bunch of smart people from a great city.
A few years ago, I don't remember if it was a Raw or SmackDown, but a few years ago, I was at a WWE show next to a father and his young son. And Randy comes to the ring, and people are chanting RKO, and the son goes, "What does RKO stand for?" And the dad leans over and he goes, "Randy Knockout." And I just had... If anyone doesn't know, by the way, it literally just stands for Randall Keith Orton. That's what it actually stands for. And I just had this unbelievable urge to just sucker punch this dad for teaching his son the wrong shit. That kid, mark my words, is going to grow up to be a failure because his dad's teaching him dumb things like that.
What great fans we have in Boston. All right, let's move on.
Anyways, next we get a match. It's Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler. I was kind of with this at the beginning. So another thing when I said I skipped through a lot of stuff, I skipped through every pre and post match interview because they rarely ever add anything. So Charlotte had a backstage promo, and Shayna had a backstage promo with Nia beforehand. I didn't listen to either of them, but then we have the match, and I think every time Shayna's had a singles match, I've said I'm with this because Shayna can work. She deserves so much better than what she's getting. Obviously, Charlotte's a really good worker. So this, I thought, I watched this whole match, and it started off fine. I really liked it. They don't have great chemistry. They have good enough chemistry to put on a top-notch women's match, especially when you're looking at who else is in the women's division. This was a good match until Nia Jax comes out, and because you knew that there was going to be a fuck finish as soon as she walked out, and it was dumber than the distraction that Shayna gave Nia last week for Nia to lose, because this one, Nia just got up on the apron and literally did nothing. She just stood there. She didn't say anything to get her attention. She literally just stood there, and Shayna just immediately turned all her attention away from her opponent, and then she loses. But so bad finish, but I hate that they're doing what they're doing with Charlotte, where they're kind of making her the pawn. No, I don't want to say pawn because that makes her sound insignificant, but she's kind of this match wasn't about these last 2 weeks. Charlotte's matches weren't about Charlotte. They were about Shayna and Nia, and I don't get why you would use Charlotte for that.
Well, I'll go next.
Okay.
First off, everybody knows I hate Nia Jax with every fiber in my being. And I read something that Shayna and Nia have a match against each other next week, so we're not even a pay-per-view match, which I'm kind of happy that Nia's not going to be on the pay-per-view, but still. So like I said a couple weeks ago when Rhea and Shayna fought, this that was a takeover main event type match. This is a pay-per-view main event match, Charlotte versus Shayna. Shayna at her prime, and then Charlotte. I'm starting to get sick of Charlotte, if I'm being honest, because I don't know what her character is. She's a face when she's
a champion. She's an arrogant champion.
It's kind of the same thing with Becky. She's a heel on the mic, but they keep having her face heels, and then she works like a baby face kind of, so it's really weird.
Well, Becky hasn't wrestled since Bianca though.
But I remember I was
what a great match that was.
I was more likening it to how we were confused about Becky's character because we didn't know if she was face or heel.
So it's more of like Charlotte. She's fighting Shayna tonight. She is playing the face role to a T in that match. And then as soon as I know we're gonna get to it, but as soon as Alexa comes out, Charlotte's the heel. Like you have to. It has to make sense like some way, at all. And I hate Nia. I hope Shayna kills her. But I hope this is maybe like the whole ending of Shayna and Nia, so we can get back to Shayna being this badass that just beats everybody up. That's what this Raw division needs. Needs a dominant woman other than Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, 100% agree. The match overall, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed. I think both.
Oh, I didn't say that. Yeah, I did enjoy the match for the most part.
Yeah, I just wanted to say for myself, I really enjoyed the match. In general, we had 4 women's matches, which good for WWE because not a lot of shows would do that, especially a 3-hour show. And because it's a 3-hour show, I think it would give them some leeway to do such a thing. Same with the thing with having so many tag team matches last week. So I'm glad that they are highlighting different divisions. And it seems to me that Raw is trying, and they are trying. Nia coming, I don't really care. I hope Nia gets her teeth knocked in next week.
I think we all do.
So are we going? We're going to the next thing that happened.
We're going to the post match. Yeah. So Alexa. Yeah. So Charlotte's like doing whatever she's doing in the ring after the match, and then Alexa's music hits. She comes out with Lily, and I know this is something that Cody, you pointed it out last night when you were watching. I noticed it today. Unfortunately, Alexa Bliss is pretty over, so it's hard. Like as much as I can't stand the gimmick and I don't want to see it, I can't say they should just scrap it because she is over. But she comes out with Lily and a wrapped present, and I was already not liking it at all. But I was like, I'm like, but my curiosity was kind of piqued because what is in the box? So it's just kind of, and they do it back and forth. Charlotte doesn't want to open it, but Alexa wants her to open it, and then Charlotte opens it, and it's a Lily doll with a Raw Women's Championship belt that's supposed to look like Charlotte, and at this point, it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen, so I skipped the rest of it. So,
immediately, what I thought it was at first was I thought Charlotte was going to open the box and like a black
I thought the same exactly.
Her face because that's what usually does. But right when this program was kind of rumored or announced, I wasn't interested in that. But I don't know why, but I'm interested in a Alexa versus Charlotte match. I think it's going to be good. That what'd she do? A sunset? What was it? What'd she do? A sunset?
Red Code. It's called Red Code.
So I thought so. Alexa, I never thought she was the best in the ring, but that move was seamlessly very smooth, when she did it. And I'm actually excited for the match. I think it's going to be interesting. I hope Charlotte wins, even though I don't like her. But I could see Alexa winning, so it's gonna be a compelling match because I feel like all 3 of us really don't know who would win in that match. Because it's Charlotte's the queen; she's the best thing on Raw for women. But Alexa is over; she is over. Even
how
if
do you know who's gonna win? It's Alexa. They're gonna give Alexa the title, and they're gonna have.
Let's save it for the predictions video.
But I'm just telling you. I'm calling it right now. I'm pointing to the fences.
Alexa's but no, I think the same thing you think, though. Okay. That Alexa's gonna win and Charlotte's gonna win it back. That's what you're thinking.
No, I'm not thinking Charlotte's gonna win it. No. Somebody else is gonna win it.
Bayley.
No.
Bayley's out for a whole year. She's not coming back till.
She's out for 9 months, and it's already been 2. So, shush. And you never know. Early recovery. She might be coming.
She's not John Cena. She's not John Cena.
Listen. She might be coming as a Royal Rumble surprise, and then win it all, and then win the big one in WrestleMania. That's happening.
Okay, move on. I can't take this Bayley talk anymore.
Wait, I wanted to say my piece on the next.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I told you guys she was over because how else would she be making the most merch sales right now?
I just kind of didn't want to. I just didn't want to believe it.
Well, when I say something, you better believe it, boy.
I
Alright,
wouldn't go that far.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, have I been wrong with stuff like this? Okay, let's move on.
So
The
the next thing we got was a 6-man tag, and let me see if it was Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders against Jinder Mahal, Veer, and Shanky. I watched this out of morbid curiosity. It was an okay match. I'm not a fan of the pairing of the Viking Raiders and Drew McIntyre. It just feels so random to me. I mean, they're good. They're obviously good, so I'm not complaining about that. It's just the pairing itself, like, unless I'm forgetting something, have they had any prior, like, have they been established as, like, allies at all, or was this
but I mean, you have a Scottish Warrior and Vikings. I mean, how it writes itself, doesn't it?
I don't know. It still felt weird to me because they haven't been, like, written together.
Just for me, maybe.
It was
It
didn't go as long as I thought it would have, which was good. But I kind of feel bad for Drew McIntyre in a way because it feels like he was obviously the biggest star in this match, and he felt so out of place in the ring with 3 complete jobbers in Jinder's whole team, but the Viking Raiders are kind of jobbers in the tag division. So Drew felt so out of place. It feels like he's like slowly being pulled down the card, despite his best efforts. So
Dom, before you say anything, I just think that we're gonna make a video on this hopefully soon about him going somewhere else, possibly Drew. So I do think
where would he go?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, NXT is rebranding. Oh, also, I just got an update that Pete Dunne has signed a long-term deal with WWE. So Pete Dunne,
No fun with me.
so he might be winning the NXT Championship tonight.
And one more thing I want to say. So obviously, Drew McIntyre wins the match for the babyfaces. One more thing I wanted to say that I thought was kind of funny is when he made his entrance. I forget which announcer said, like, it's Drew McIntyre with a sword he's never afraid to use. But he's never actually used the thing. Which also, by the way, how lucky is Drew that there always just so happens to be a sheath at ringside for him to put the sword in? How crazy is that?
I mean,
luck of the Scottish.
I did not watch this match. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm so uninterested. Like, I don't already like Drew McIntyre, and I'm so uninterested in all of this. It's just, I think what we're all thinking, this is just to get over for a couple more weeks until we get to the draft. And yeah.
Well, Cody, you just took the words out of my mouth, so we can move on.
All right. So the next thing we had, we had the New Day backstage. I skipped it completely. As soon as I saw Kofi and Xavier Woods making goofy faces, I skipped it.
New Day.
They rocks. You better stop.
New Day's boring and stale and stupid. New.
With the worst opinions on the show.
This is like, they're just. I think these backstage segments are pretty pointless, but at the same time, it's just like entertainment. This is the part of the show that's entertainment based, and it's just you want to show. They're showing off Big E as much as possible to tease what's happening later, even though it's not really a tease because he literally said.
I had a problem with that. I had a huge problem with that because he was in like 4 or 5 interview segments, literally just to pop in and be like, "Hey, I have a briefcase." It's like you said it on SmackDown, you tweeted about it, you said it at the top of the show. What more? Like everyone that's watching the show, like for the cash-in, is already watching. I don't know why we keep having to have him just remind us. But
they want to make sure you stay until the 3rd hour.
They're gonna stay. They already know he's cashing in.
I don't know. Some people.
It just felt like it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't like it. It didn't bring anything down. It just felt gratuitous to me.
I think the segment was great. The segment was great because
great. Okay,
listen.
You use different words.
You don't even let me finish. You don't even let me finish my set. What am I gonna say? Oh my goodness! I'm already getting attacked with a bunch of swords.
Go.
This is the reason. Big E is with Kofi and Xavier. That by itself is great. And you have to have a segment on it. Yes, I would be upset and be like, okay, why didn't we just have a segment? Like, we have a 3-hour show. Let's see them just be happy together. And they were. I think that's great. Big, like it or not.
You were gonna get that. You were gonna get that at the end of the show.
But you still want to see that preview. I do. I'm sorry.
So,
I don't know how you like it or not.
What would you rate it? What would you rate it?
Is
1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Rate it right now.
like a 7.
That's not great. That's good.
Okay, maybe I used the wrong words like usually, but
Okay.
it's a good segment, and I think it was a good placement on the card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
I like New Day.
yeah. Do you have anything else to say about it, Cody? Or should we move on?
New Day rocks.
Okay, so the next thing we had was the 24/7 title segment. Reggie is awesome. It's kind of I'm not going to say it's getting stale because it's still fun to watch Reggie just bounce around the place, but it is just kind of like I don't want to say anything critical because then it's going to sound like I'm not enjoying it because I am enjoying it. It's just like it's the same. It just kind of feels like the same thing every time. It's just like he's flipping around and R-Truth and Akira Tozawa get like look like idiots. I don't know. It's just it's the same segment. They're doing the same segment in a bunch of different ways, so it just feels it's weird because I'm saying something critical, but I still enjoyed it. So I really don't know what to say about it.
I
It's
disagree.
the same thing. It's the same. It's entertaining, but it's the same exact thing.
I just want to say, it might be the same thing a little bit, but there's hinting of different things because
Like
Drake
what?
Maverick is in the spotlight. I don't know if you saw the whole thing, but he
I
said,
did. No, I saw the whole thing. I saw
and,
all.
and that's teasing like he's gonna be part of the hunt. He knows what to do. He's
But who
been part of
cares?
this.
But who
I
cares?
care. What do you mean?
It's the 24/7 title. Who actually cares?
I do because it's a great segment each and every Monday. That's why.
Okay, so the only thing I'll say is that I love R-Truth. I want him always to be in the title. Akira Tozawa can go somewhere else. He doesn't bring anything to TV for me, if I'm being honest. Like he was like
I don't think he's meant to be
cruiserweight champion, and all of a sudden he's running around the city and trying to get the. I don't know.
I just don't think he's meant to be comedy. I like him in the ring when he's serious, but he's definitely just not meant to be a comedy guy.
R-Truth is
Okay.
naturally.
I'm not gonna argue with you as too much because
I mean, because I didn't hate it. I know it sounds like I didn't like it. I was still entertained.
But
just
also,
to me, it's just the same thing every time.
But also, Drake Maverick's been in the 24/7 championship.
yeah, but I like that he brings a different mix into it now.
But I feel like it's so different because he was on. When's the last time he was on NXT? It wasn't that long ago.
No,
Like
he
was such a different character. It just I don't know.
I feel like he's gonna be a different character with this 24/7 stuff, like a experienced, calculated strategy.
It's going to be a comedy gimmick.
And what's R-Truth? He's been 24/7 champion 12,000 times.
No matter what Drake Maverick's character ends up being, because it's the 24/7 title, it's going to be comedy. It's been nothing. Title's been nothing but.
Let's just see what happens.
There's nothing wrong with a little comic relief on 3 hour show, but that's all it's been. So it's not. He's not going to be a cold, calculated strategist. He's going to win the title and be a goof.
Like if you don't have any comedy on a wrestling show, I'm going to be a little bit bored.
I want You know what I really want for the 24/7 championship? I want a 24/7 championship lumberjack match.
Pretty funny.
That's gonna be
that'd be pretty funny.
All right, let's move on.
So anyway, let's move on. So next we had the United States Championship. It was Damian Priest versus Jeff Hardy, which so glad to start off. So glad to see Jeff Hardy like properly placed on the card this time around. It did to me reek of WWE. It is refreshing when they admit that they did something stupid. So, and this was clearly like we heard you guys being pissed off that how badly we've been misusing him. So here's this.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I was glad to see Jeff Hardy, and he can still go. He's still super over. He got a huge pop when he entered, and the match was fine. The match was fine. Nothing egregiously bad happened in this match. I mean, Sheamus came out, so you knew that the match was never going to be about Jeff Hardy. And the only thing I really have a problem with is that in my opinion, you can't have a number one contenders match the week before, have Sheamus win, and then have Damian Priest fight a random guy. Like, I'm not saying do the title match now. I'm saying just don't have Damian Priest fight somebody, do like a promo segment, because you know that you not only know that Damian Priest is going to win, you also know that Jeff Hardy is just a filler in this because it's all about Sheamus and Damian Priest. But again, I'm glad that Jeff Hardy was involved in this. The match was fine. By the way, Jeff Hardy is, in my opinion, the United States Championship because he did 100% pin Damian Priest.
He has the championship?
He should have it because he pinned Damian Priest for a 3 count. But that's like if you go back and watch Damian Priest, like he flinches, but his shoulders never leave the mat, and Jeff Hardy still had his legs covering him. So Jeff Hardy, in my eyes, is the United States Champion.
let's keep track of that, okay? Let's see who he loses.
Nothing's gonna become of it. It was obviously a mistake. Like this wasn't.
What if they did? What if it's an angle and Jeff Hardy?
That'd be nice. That actually, if it becomes an angle next week, I will really enjoy it. But I bet this. Yeah, I bet nothing's gonna happen.
We got a triple threat match at Extreme Rules. I dig that.
Cool.
Especially Extreme Rules, because Jeff Hardy's like the king of like.
Yes, actually, that's a good idea.
I would dig that. I would really dig that.
I'll get my stuff out the way. I complained about Jeff Hardy last week. I'm like, why you have Jeff Hardy? And I correct my eyes. I'm like, is that Jeff Hardy fighting for the 24/7 championship?
Correct my eyes.
Yeah, I had to fix my eyes. I had to make sure I'm looking at correctly. And I'm like, and I went off and I looked on Twitter. I'm like, well, they agree with me. I saw a bunch of videos afterwards, like made why Jeff Hardy deserves better. Like people forget he was the most over thing in WWE. Period. For like a good 2 years. And he's still.
I wouldn't say that long. But yeah.
Okay. Yes.
2009. Other than that, I guess.
2008, he was over. What are you talking about?
I think 2 years. I don't think he was the most over thing for 2 years.
Like 2007, when
even though people hated John Cena was still super over.
Yeah, but he wasn't as old. I'm just saying, Jeff Hardy outsold him and merged. Let's carry on. Good match. 7 out of 10.
I actually do have a take after you.
Okay.
With that comment.
7 out of 10. That finish, that falls, or whatever you want to call it, the pin with the 3, with the really weak kick out. That was a really good move in general for a pin. It's really hard to kick out of that.
That's what I thought. As soon as I hit that move, I was like, "Geez, that's gonna be a really hard position to kick out from." And then lo and behold, he didn't.
But give Jeff Hardy something to do. Like maybe put him. I don't know where to put him because I'm not a booker. Maybe I have to look at the whole roster. But just give him something to do. You know, people don't expect a world championship run or maybe not even a title run. Just let him be on TV. The older fans, us fans who at least grew up with him. I grew up with him. He'll get a good pop from us, and a lot of people will be happy because Jeff Hardy is an icon. He's an enigma. I think that's what they call it.
Charismatic enigma.
Yeah. He's a future, maybe 2-time Hall of Famer. He deserves better.
Yeah, I can see that. I liked the match. I really enjoyed it. Jeff Hardy, his character doesn't do it for me anymore. He needs to change. He needs a change. He needs something. You know, it would be a perfect tag team for him and Matt Riddle. They would be so great together. They would be so great.
You know what? Jeff Hardy could write Matt Riddle's character a lot better than whoever's writing it, I bet you. Jeff Hardy could write a stoner gimmick.
Jeff Hardy's not even a bad talker, to be honest.
No, he's not always a good talker.
No, but like I would like Jeff Hardy. When's the last time you seen a heel Jeff Hardy? Or like
heel Jeff Hardy in WWE?
I mean, like think of the options you could do with that. That would be so cool.
Heel Jeff Hardy.
I'm also really hoping for an AJ Styles Jeff Hardy match down the line because that would just.
You know what match I'd kind of like to see? You know what match would be kind of cool to me is Jeff Hardy versus Darby. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
I'm sure Darby took a lot of inspiration from Hardy. I'm sure.
Similar workers, they both don't give a shit how much they hurt themselves.
I don't know if Jeff Hardy can do it anymore. I don't know if he can do that wild crap anymore, though.
I don't know if he can, but he would. That's the thing. He would.
But yeah, I did enjoy it. Jeff Hardy it's always cool to see Jeff Hardy on TV doing something a little meaningful. I kind of did want Sheamus to interrupt the match, and then be like, "Oh, you didn't let Jeff Hardy get a fair shake. It's gonna be a triple threat match at Extreme Rules now." That would have been cool. Another element.
They have an angle if they want to do it.
So I would like that. I hope they could do that just because it gives you a little more we're not getting the same old rematch. You know, Damian Priest is gonna win regardless of the match, but I would like to see something more different than what we're gonna get at Extreme Rules.
I think they're setting somebody else up for a Damian feud. Yeah. Later down the line. I'll get into who it is.
But then, so then obviously post-match, there was I think Sheamus beat down Jeff Hardy, then got beat down by Damian Priest, as you would expect. Moving on. So the next 1, 2, 3, I skipped the next 4 matches as soon as I saw who was in them.
You skipped a good match.
I know which one you're talking about without even having watched it, but so I skipped an entire backstage segment of Nikki ASH and Rhea versus Natalya and Tamina that somehow ended in a brawl and somehow 2 singles matches. So Nikki ASH versus Tamina was the first one. I fast forwarded straight through to the finish. That finish was a botch.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that is not where that match was supposed to end because Tamina kicked out. The ref fucked up. But the even bigger fuck up was on the ring announcer who, after Nikki ASH pins Tamina, announced.
Nikki ASH got hurt. Nikki ASH got hurt. She got hurt.
Oh.
She got left to the back and done the commercial.
Like, was she legit hurt or was it storyline?
No, she was actually hurt.
Okay, but either way, the ring announcer. I don't think I've ever actually seen this happen. Nikki ASH pins Tamina 1, 2, 3, and then the ring announcer announced Tamina as the winner. That was ridiculous. I could not believe. I rewound that 3 times just to make sure that I heard that correctly and to make sure that Nikki ASH actually was the one that won the match. That was unbelievable. And then you had Rhea versus Natalya, which we got like. I'm sick of seeing these people. With this 3 weeks in a row, we've seen these exact same 4 people. Nikki ASH is bringing Rhea Ripley down with her. Nothing about this is good. No, unfortunately, they're unfortunately going to win the women's tag team championships, which means we're going to have to see more of Nikki ASH. I had no reason to watch any of this, so I didn't.
I just wanted to say. Go ahead, Cody. I was gonna say you skipped Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. That was actually a really good match.
I just have no reason to watch it.
I get that, but I just wanted to recommend that match because Natalya just reminds me she's a very good hand in the women's division. There's a reason she has the job.
Mm-hmm. Good.
You can tell she led the match. It was a really good, clean match, unlike the abomination of Nikki ASH versus Tamina.
So I didn't watch because I'm not invested in this because Tamina and Natalya are probably the worst champions to ever grace WWE. They've lost 4 times to Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, and they should get a title match before Rhea and Nikki ASH do because they've never lost to them, and it's so pointless. I'm actually looking forward to Nikki ASH and Rhea winning the titles. Just because I feel like they have more chances to. You get to see Rhea on SmackDown now because the champions on both brands, I guess. And then it's gonna all culminate to Rhea turning heel on Nikki. So long-term booking.
Mm-hmm.
Long-term booking, sure.
Yeah, so moving along, the next match was an 8-man tag, and it was. Let me see if I remember because I skipped this. It was Mason T-Bar and AJ Styles and Moss against Mustafa Ali and Mansoor and the New Day. So, yeah, skipped it as soon as I saw the New Day. We already had a multi-man match. I'm sure – okay, I'm going to start off by saying I'm sure this match was entertaining and fun to watch. I'm not going to say –
I don't know.
I'm not going to say that – I'm not going to say the match itself wasn't entertaining because there were good workers in this match. There was probably a bunch of really fun action. For me, it's just we already saw a 6-man tag. We've seen a multi-man match already tonight. I can't stand the New Day. Mason T-Bar or nothing. Mansoor and Mustafa Ali or nothing. This was just a matter of how long it's going to take for Amos to kill everybody, which I did stop when I saw Amos alone in the ring with 4 people. And I was like, okay, this is going to be the finish because Amos is going to lay waste to everybody. It was kind of cool to see Amos manhandle everybody and win. But other than that, had zero interest in this.
I agree. I like the New Day, the NWO gear. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that.
They've worn it for the past 4 weeks. Why? It's still cool to you? It's still wow, that's really cool.
It wasn't red. It wasn't what is the red? The Wolfpack, right?
Wasn't that red? Kofi's red.
I think it's been red.
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Not important.
So the only thing I have to say, I'm going to give credit to WWE because we don't do that nearly enough, is that they are building Omos very good. You can't say they aren't. They're building him as a beast. They're building him. I think he's going to. I know it's he's so bad in the ring, but I think we're eventually going to get a Omos versus Bobby Lashley match because they teased it a couple weeks ago, and I don't know. I would like to see it. I love just 2 giant men just almost trying to kill each other. It's just fun.
Have him go against the Great Khali.
And then so the next match, let's not talk about this longer than we have to. Eva Marie versus Doudrop. Who the fuck cares? So here's what I did with this match. I said, okay, there is in this match more than any a possibility that something hilariously stupid is going to happen on accident. So I was like, I'm gonna count to 30, and then if nothing funny has happened, I'm just gonna skip it. Counted to 30, nothing happened, skipped it.
Yeah, I just want to say Eva Marie, she would be a good manager. She's not a good wrestler.
Doudrop got married this week. Congrats to Doudrop.
Cool. Nice.
Oh,
Alright, let's
yeah.
move on.
Well, always nice to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Karrion Kross had a backstage I don't understand what they're doing with Karrion Kross.
I like this.
I
think
like it too.
it was a cool little package. Like, I'm not going to say the package itself wasn't cool. I just think, like, again, they're building him as this beast. I think I'm not saying he's a bad talker. I just think he needs a mouthpiece. I think it takes a lot away from a monster when they start speaking.
I disagree.
A Moss doesn't talk. I don't think.
No more can't talk. That's the issue. I think Karrion Kross isn't terrible on the mic. He's not
I
good.
I don't think he's a bad talker. I just think, like, I don't know. I think it takes away a lot, not a lot, but I think it takes away from his character that he's he's this muscle. He's this in the ring. He's this beast that he comes to the ring in that stupid mask, and he's beating people in 2 minutes. To all of a sudden, he's wearing a suit backstage, and he's speaking like he has a PhD in communications. Like,
Cody, you want to go first? Or should I?
I just want to ask Eric a question. Who's better than Mike? Karrion Kross or Bobby Lashley?
Oh,
I need to hear more of Karrion Kross because that and Moist TV were the first 2 times I've actually heard him speak. So I don't know.
I can't believe that's a debate. Like, Bobby Lashley's like really good on the mic.
I would say right now. I'd say right now Bobby Lashley, but I also have only heard Karrion Kross speak like twice.
I do like this new Karrion Kross thing. I think WWE. I think they're doing better at realizing, hey, we kind of fucked up here. This was a really bad gimmick. We really screwed up his development from coming up from NXT, and we're trying to fix that. I don't know where Scarlett is, but I don't know what she did to get kicked off all television altogether. But I'm always up for something new. I didn't like the last Karrion Kross character, so hopefully this is an improvement. They're just trying to. Where's Keith Lee, by the way? Where did he go?
I don't know.
I want to say that he has some. I was gonna say injured, but then again, he wrestled.
He was supposed to be with Adam Cole, remember?
So I don't know. Don't know what's going on with Keith Lee. I honestly think they're just giving up on Keith Lee.
Adam Cole didn't.
Or he could be hurt. You never know, because we really thought they were just not using him. Well, like last year, and it turns out he was really sick. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Karrion Kross this gimmick. If they develop it right, it could be so good. A lot of people on Twitter mentioned Sean O'Haire. They're one of the great WWE what ifs. Because Sean O'Haire, are you guys familiar with Sean O'Haire?
Not really.
You need to go back and watch his stuff. I'm gonna send it to you after the show. Some of his promos and the way he talks is basically a reflection of that. A big guy from WCW. He was never mind. I can't reference WCW tag teams, but he was a big guy who can work. He could talk. Karrion Kross is not that guy, but if they can just pull off a poor version of him and fulfill that would be good. Because WWE back then in 2003, he was the total package, and they just didn't capitalize. The character, the guy behind Sean O'Haire had drug issues, and unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, which is really bad. But I like how this character is going. I think this is a good turning point for his character. It comes out of nowhere, of course, but it's better than them not doing anything at all. So my
only gripe with this is that they should have waited a couple weeks.
No,
they should have. No. You don't immediately you don't put a character on TV 1 week and then it completely changes the next week.
So you want to have just more shit on TV for a couple other weeks?
I think you've got to. I'm not saying keep him off for like a month. I'm saying keep, because even when he was on TV, like, he was only on for a few minutes. Like, I think you keep him off for a couple weeks and kind of let people. They won't forget, but the idea is you let people kind of forget what he was before, so then you're repackaging him.
I kind of disagree, because obviously with the face that
they do it with everybody.
Well, I'm trying to make a point here. Just hear me out. And I feel like that reflects off some of the things they did on the show with Jeff Hardy, with Big E, now with a bit of Karrion change. they're competing directly for ratings with AEW now. Because let's face it, All Out, as much as others might have liked it more than us, was a big thing in the industry.
Mhm.
And then SmackDown retaliates, and then Raw. I heard reports that they're motivated to do the same. They're motivated to put on good shows. To get themselves better because with I think it was the testing or viewing, Dynamite was beating Raw or something like that.
They beat. Okay, we'll talk about it after the show because
Yeah, but I
It's
think that's it.
it's hard to like do that because it's like it's on 2 different days. There's 2 different shows on different days.
Yes, but it is still a good
And I
point.
don't think, and this is a hot take for me. I don't think Dynamite's did that better than Raw recently. For being
I disagree.
honest.
I highly
Yeah, but
disagree.
here's I'll just say it
Raw
now
is shit.
because I'll say it now because it's a quick point about the ratings. Dynamite has never beaten Raw in the ratings. Don't listen to anything you ever read because everyone will tell you when it comes to total viewership, Raw kicks their ass, but they will beat them in the key demographic.
Demographics, yeah.
The key demographic, the 18 to 49 demo, AEW always wins, but total viewership, it's always been Raw.
Well, that's
Well,
but
SmackDown was number 1.
The demos.
yeah,
Fools.
SmackDown's number 1. I'm not.
I mean, I
SmackDown
was
was-
talking about Raw versus Dynamite.
But I'm just saying like it keeps it competitive.
SmackDown was one of the highest rated SmackDowns of all time on Friday.
As it should be. As it should be. I'm not talking about SmackDown.
Anyway,
We'll get into a
moving
ratings
on.
war.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
don't even let me finish my point. You just interrupt me.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like the writing team on Raw is more motivated to put on a better show because of things that happen in AEW, and I think that reflects that. I don't think it's a smart idea to let's just have people forget about them. We're wrestling fans. We don't forget about. We'll remember things that happened on a random ass Raw 2 years ago. Like it's a good thing that they did this now than later.
But I also don't know if necessarily Karrion Kross is moving the needle enough to be like, okay.
I'm not saying he's moving the needle, but he's
like
doing
when
better
it comes to
character
putting on
work
a
than he
better
would
show
now.
and giving but I'm saying when it comes to putting on a better show and giving the fans what they want, I don't necessarily think Karrion Kross is moving the needle to the point where it's like we literally have to have Karrion Kross on the show.
Well, we don't know that
suffer.
because it's just the beginning of
But,
what this gimmick might be.
but my point was that like every person that's gone repackaged, they're never on the show the next week after. Like New Day, how long was New Day gone for before they debuted?
No, I get that. I get that point. I'm just saying maybe it's a different time now because they feel like they're more in competition now. Not these guys want to go over, and I feel like anytime they're not doing something, this guy will leave and then go to AEW and get a rating pop.
I mean, if I was WWE, I'd want Karrion Kross to go to AEW.
I mean, they probably disagree because they haven't won to be.
Anyway, so let's move on because the next thing we had the main event of the evening for the WWE Championship: Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley. Probably my 2 favorite guys on Raw. I really liked it. It wasn't like it was neither my favorite Randy Orton match nor my favorite Bobby Lashley match, but it was good. Like Randy's so smooth. Like Bobby Lashley's never been one to have a classic match in the ring, but Randy is such a smooth worker. You knew this match was gonna make sense. It wasn't gonna be it was gonna be serious. It wasn't gonna be goofy and silly, despite Matt Riddle's best effort to bring everything down to a kindergarten level. And I don't remember there being anything egregiously sloppy. So it was good work. Right man won. I'll say I'll save what happened after that until you guys can give your opinions on this. That was my opinion. Just overall, it was like it wasn't fantastic, but it was solid, perfectly solid.
Yeah, I echo that. It was really great. I would like to see them in a longer match, if possible, with more time.
Yeah, there were obvious
a bit more story. But for what it was really good.
I enjoyed it. I echo the sentiment that we need a longer match with this. I don't care if it comes 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now, 2 years from now. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed like Lashley's more smooth than people give him credit for, and Randy's one of the smoothest workers of all time. So I did think that when Randy gave the RKO to MVP outside the ring, it looked like MVP like got genuinely hurt on that. It did not
Yeah,
look.
did you notice how Matt Riddle flopped around like a fish right next to him, like a complete moron
It
for
was
no
great.
reason?
Matt
It was
Riddle's
stupid.
bestseller in
It was
WWE.
Stupid.
Get out of here.
Well, also,
anyway.
I want to give credit to Lashley because after the match, the attack, I thought Lashley genuinely was hurt. I thought his knee The selling of his injured knee was very good. But I like the match. Very good.
Yeah, so speaking of Bobby Lashley's knee, so after the match, obviously, Bobby Lashley, even though he won the match, he starts getting a bunch of heat. Starts beating up Riddle, beating up Randy Orton. I watched it back a couple times. So I actually did watch the last 5 minutes of Raw yesterday, but I didn't see anything before that. So when I did notice him limping yesterday, I was like, I wonder what happened. So I was watching really closely, and the point when he hurt his knee was kind of like, if you watched it back, it's kind of silly because I think what he was selling was, so we put Randy through the announce table. It looked like what he was selling was a piece of the announce table came out like that and like hit him on the outside of the knee, which is kind of silly that's going to hit. Like, you could first of all tell it didn't hit him. I'm nitpicking. You could just tell, like, it just was silly. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining because obviously Big E cashes in the briefcase. He wins the title, and I actually think this was really well done because you gave Lashley, and I'm a huge Bobby Lashley fan. I told you guys yesterday. Even though Big E winning the title is like awesome and he got a massive pop, I can't be impartial about Bobby Lashley losing the title because I love him. But they did Bobby Lashley a lot of favors in the way they did it. They gave him an out with the knee, and they didn't just have Big E cash in, hit the big ending, and win. I believed for a second that Bobby Lashley could win that match. So they definitely did Bobby Lashley a lot of favors. Like, he loses the title, but he doesn't come out of it looking weak. I think he still looked very strong coming out of this show. And obviously Big E got a massive pop. New Day came out, and I promptly turned the TV off.
So, the only thing I didn't like about this last thing was the commercial, where the commercial was put. It was like in the middle of like, oh my God, he's cashing in. We'll be right back. I'm like, shitting me. Like, they could have made a commercial like a bit sooner on. Even though if they cut the Randy and Bobby short, I'm fine with that. But I do love that when they came back, Lashley's refusing to compete because he hurt his knee. And Big E just slaps the fucking shit out of him. He's like, come on, let's go. And Bobby's like, you know what? I'm going to fucking do this. And for 1 second, just 1 second, when Bobby Lashley hit that spear, I thought Bobby Lashley was winning that match. And then when Big E hit the big ending, I thought Bobby Lashley was going to kick out. I wasn't looking at the time, realizing, it's over. But Bobby Lashley did look really strong. Big E did. And I'm very excited because I think this is setting up Bloodline versus New Day at Survivor Series, which I'm all for. Even though you hate the New Day, I'm like, they're great wrestlers. So, yeah. Besides Xavier Woods, because Xavier Woods is kind of the most pointless one of all those. Tom, don't give me a look. He is. What's he do?
He's a serviceable wrestler. He
is not bad.
I swear to God, if he wins King of the Ring, I'm gonna lose my shit.
He might.
He shouldn't. I'm sorry, he shouldn't. But yeah, I liked it. So you two were very against Big E cashing in, and I wasn't.
I only was from a biased perspective of I love Bobby Lashley.
Dom, in the chat. You said you did not want him to cash in tonight.
I just think they could have done it a better moment, but just me. I don't know. I just didn't like the announcement thing.
I'd rather be last night than Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah. I'm not.
I did not want Goldberg to cost Bobby Lashley.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. Maybe
we don't have to worry about Goldberg.
I just like surprise cash-ins. That's all. I just like surprise cash-ins.
But I don't know. I'm interested to see how Bobby holds the title because he was not a strong Intercontinental Champion on SmackDown. So I'm hoping a change of scenery will do him well. I just hope we don't get a New Day segment week after week after week.
We're going to. It was the same thing with Kofi. That's all this is going to be.
I don't think so because Bobby Lashley.
I'll let Dom go first because I do.
Bobby Lashley. Big E's a much different wrestler than Kofi. Like, Big E's the muscle. Big E's the guy. So I'm hoping we can get actual good storytelling here, and I'm hoping Bobby Lashley isn't just. I keep saying Bobby Lashley. Big E isn't as goofy as he usually is, but no.
I just want to congratulate Big E because this is big. Like, he's been like a main event.
No, he's a Grand Slam champion now.
Is he? Did he win the U.S. title?
I think so. When he was Dolph Ziggler's muscle, I think he won the United States.
I thought it was the Intercontinental.
Oh, it might have been. Okay, never mind.
I don't think he is because I feel like they would have mentioned that. Then forget
I said anything.
Okay. But yeah, he's I just like seeing mid-carders who are like main event stars actually flourish. Luke Harper was, or now Bodie Lee passed away unfortunately, was one who I always thought of. Cesaro, of course, maybe we'll still see that. Hopefully, there's
You
still
won't.
time.
You won't.
Dolph Ziggler was one for a while, and they kind of botched it. But it's just good to see. The match was good to make Bobby Lashley still credible. So yeah.
Here's my
Um,
thought. Go ahead, Cody.
No, you're good. You're good. I have a different.
Here's my thought. Look, I think with Big E, just in general, with him being Money in the Bank at this time, I think they really booked themselves into a corner that I think he obviously couldn't have cashed in on Roman Reigns because that's stupid. That's incredibly stupid. Roman's way too good. Like, if he cashes in on Roman has to win the match. But I think they're doing Big E an incredible disservice by putting him on Raw with Kofi and Xavier Woods because they're going to package, like, it's going to be a 3-man segment with the New Day. Like, I think this completely defeats the purpose of pushing him as a single to have him reach the mountaintop just to be reunited with the New Day again. I think he like that, but that's just my opinion. Like,
What if
they talked about
um,
now he's been pushed like MVP said it. MVP said it in his promo at the beginning. He said, "You've done a great job establishing yourself as a singles competitor, but here you are coming right back to the New Day." I completely agree with that. I think, but again, he couldn't cash in on Roman Reigns. He did kind of have to cash in on Bobby Lashley. I just think they did him a huge disservice by kind of with the way they obviously. I don't think they probably think that putting him back with the New Day it's probably gonna do good ratings because people love the New Day when they're all together. I just think when it comes to Big E's singles career, I think this is horrible for him. It's great that he's the champion, but being with the New Day, I think is gonna take away a lot because
I disagree.
it's gonna take versus if he was like if New Day was on SmackDown and Big E was the WWE champion on Raw, I think it does a lot better for him than if he's champion on any show where they're all together. I think completely.
I feel like you're assuming that that Kofi and Xavier are gonna have the same role for Big E as the Bloodline is, like with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. I
don't think those two are gonna be flunkies, but look what they did when Kofi was champion. It was still the New Day. It was still the New Day, except Kofi was just holding a belt.
But you can't necessarily
say it was still goofy Kofi Kingston.
But Big E isn't as he's different though. We saw his reign of
I'm more than welcome to be proven wrong. I'm just saying my prediction is it's going to be the same.
Well, that's a prediction, and I hope you're wrong because
I hope I'm wrong too. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't think
I'm pretty sure you are.
I have 2 points. The first point is WWE has way too many babyface champions right now. Big E, I like Big E's character, but at the same time, it's like him and Damian Priest, too many on the same roster, on the same branch. It's like Big E and Damian Priest. What separates them? Are they just going to do open challenges each week? Because that's how I can see Big E being a champion. Like kind of like Kofi was. Kofi was, I'll take on any comers at any time.
I don't think Big E would do that.
Are we just gonna get? No, I'm just like speculating. Are we just gonna get? I hope we're not just getting open challenge week after week after week. I hope like they mix up Big E's character a little, be like a guy that no one wants to face because he's just crushing everybody. I think we're getting Bobby Lashley versus Big E at Extreme Rules because
I think Goldberg interferes with that match to set up the Saudi Arabia and gets
not.
I don't see that only just because that you make your champion so weak right off the jump by having someone interfere for him to keep his title. But I can see something like that happening, and then so we can't really speculate because the draft's going to change everything. Mm-hmm. I can see maybe Seth Rollins going over Raw or something like that to just mix it up a little. So I'm excited to see. And second, congrats to WWE because they have been Fightful mentioned this when I was watching a review yesterday that there are a lot of non-Caucasian champions. There's a lot of diversity now in WWE. AEW, like, when do you ever see black? Like back in the day, black wrestlers weren't really a thing that like people.
I think Kofi was the first African American WWE champion,
which is insane.
Yeah.
And so I'm props for WWE for Bobby Lashley, Big E, Kofi. All of a sudden, Roman's not white, so there's a little thing there.
Yeah, Damian Priest.
Damian.
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, And then, so I feel they said this yesterday that AEW and all the other promotions need to do a better job of promoting more diversity in their divisions because AEW was AEW.
I'm going to disagree because I think you need to you can't if they can't work, don't give them a title.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but like Scorpio Sky, like we talked about Scorpio Sky.
Okay, yes, Scorpio Sky needs to be. I completely agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm disagreeing with the blanket statement. You need to push more diversity because it needs to be first and foremost
good wrestlers.
Promote your best workers. But if your best worker, if among your best workers are minorities, then yes, then you can promote diversity. But don't just push a minority because they're minority.
And WWE has that advantage; they have much more diverse roster. So I mean, it would be expected of WWE more to do that than AEW, who has more predominantly Caucasian roster. So,
well, there's more of a AEW can. Like Scorpio Sky. Like Scorpio Sky should be pushed to the moon as one of their top stars. And
I agree. Hopefully that will happen.
Hobbs, it looks like they're pushing Hobbs a little bit, which I'm excited about because I don't really know him that well. So, and then there's a ROH guy. What's his name? Gresham, who's
Jonathan Gresham.
I've never seen him wrestle, but
Jonathan Gresham.
He's apparently super good. So I would like to see it.
Oh yeah.
I saw him at Supercard of. I saw him wrestle at. He was an undercard guy at the time, but I saw him at Supercard of Honor in 2018, and he was good. He was an undercard match, but he was good.
And Red Velvet.
That was Raw. A pretty decent show, I think, for all intents and purposes. You know you're going to get some goofy moments when it comes to Raw because it's 3 hours long. They need to fill time. Like SmackDown goes so fast for me. It's like, oh my God, we're already at the main event. Like, this is nuts. But yeah.
So I said I'd have a final thought on the show that was best kept till afterward. Here's my big pro. So obviously, I'm going to make what sounds like a blanket statement, but obviously I'm going to preface it by saying there were some really good moments and there were some new things on the show. But on the whole, my big problem is I feel like we've been seeing the same people conflicting and the same people fighting for like 6 months at this. Not say that's an exaggeration, but I feel like the last 5 weeks it's been, for the most part, the exact same show, the exact same people fighting each other with, of course, the sprinkled in random 6-man tag. Obviously, the Big E thing was new, but I feel like we've gotten, the Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH thing is with Natalya and Tamina has been going on for 3 weeks. Damian Priest and Sheamus has been going on since before SummerSlam. What else? Eva Marie and Doudrop's been going on for weeks. Charlotte and Nia Jax and Shayna has been going on for 5 weeks, I think. It's just we're seeing way too much of the same thing for my taste.
Question with that. It sounds like they're holding on for a remix of a roster. Is there perhaps a draft happening soon?
First of all, drop the sarcasm.
I'm just saying.
I'm aware the draft is happening. But that doesn't just because there's a draft happening doesn't mean you just need to hold on to feuds for over a month.
They do it a lot long. So I agree with Eric here because they do rematches all the time when there's no draft. Like Apollo and Big E fought 28 times in 2 months.
They weren't SmackDown though.
Damian Priest and Miz Morrison from the Royal Rumble till just before SummerSlam.
No, that's a good example. I'll give you that one. But just weird.
That's my over. There's obviously a good amount of new things here. Alexa and Charlotte's. They've had conflict for a couple weeks, but it's still new in that nothing significant really has happened yet with them. Obviously, the Big E thing is brand new, but then the other thing for me is sometimes when you get different in the form of the 8-man tag, which not the 8-man tag, the 6-man tag, which is. How long has Drew McIntyre, even though the Viking Raiders are new to this, how long has Drew McIntyre been doing his thing with Jinder and friends? And then sometimes you get something like the 8-man tag where it's guys you don't really see that much, but you know that it means nothing as far as no one's moving up the card because of that match at all. So that's my opinion.
Jeff Hardy being in a prominent spot is pretty good.
That was cool. Yeah,
not prominent though. I don't think I don't consider prominent until it happens more than once. Like if he,
Plus,
comes out, if he
in
comes
the
out
grand
with-
scheme of it, in the grand scheme of that segment, he was filler. That was Sheamus and Damian Priest.
Shayna
Priest. You might as well call him that because they've been feuding for so long.
Oh my goodness. Any
I
last
also
thing
do
to
want to.
close
I
us
was just reading Twitter while you guys
Yeah.
were talking, and Jake Atlas has retired from pro wrestling.
Really? Well, he actually, I do remember he was having a lot of like mental health issues. That's had to be it.
He
That
just
sucks.
tweeted
That's really unfortunate. He's another one I've not been following him, but I watched him when he was up on the deep indies, like in like those small indie promotions no one's ever heard of. Like I watched him in like one of those. So it was really cool to see him like make it all the way to the Performance Center. But yeah, that's really
I mean,
good for him for passing up on the on the fortune to look out for his mental health. I think like not enough people are putting their mental health first, so good for him for doing that. But yeah, just unfortunate circumstances though.
Yeah. So we do have NXT tonight. I'm probably the biggest NXT fan of
I enjoy it. I never go out of my way to watch it, but I enjoy it.
I'm very excited to watch tonight. It's a new era, as they say. NXT title match tonight.
I was about to ask. I think you kind of just answered my question. Is that that fatal 4-way was supposed to be for the number one contender? Did they just switch that to just for the vacant title? Okay, I'm watching it.
Kyle O'Reilly,
Ciampa,
LA Knight, Ciampa, and Pete Dunne.
Come on, Kyle O'Reilly.
LA Knight is winning.
If Kyle O'Reilly wins that match, we need to refilm the top 10 to see us skyrocketing.
No, that's not how it works, Eric. That's not how it works.
That's next year. This is a new year. I can see. Let's do a little prediction of who he thinks. I'm gonna go with Pete Dunne with the news he just re-signed, so they must. I mean.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Kyle. I'm gonna say Kyle O'Reilly.
Let's get a nice interference by Walter and let him just destroy everyone.
I'm saying Kyle O'Reilly. I'm okay with it. We're putting this. Should we put this on the prediction game?
No.
Yeah. Let's put it on the
I kind of want to.
No,
should we actually do it?
Yeah. I'm picking Pete Dunne. I'm picking Pete Dunne.
Oh no.
Cody, Pete Dunne, Dom. You want to stick with LA Knight?
Give me a second.
You have Ciampa too. You have Ciampa.
I'm going with Kyle O'Reilly.
This needs a lot for Dom because we're tied. Me and Dom are tied right now. So
yeah, okay. I'll because I never recapped the scores during our All Out review, so I'll recap the scores.
Okay. Who says champ? I'll go. Has Ciampa been in? I don't watch NXT.
Ciampa's been an NXT champ already.
No, has he been in a feud lately?
A feud?
He's been on a tag team. He's been in a tag team.
He's been tagging with Timothy Thatcher. But it's a rebranded show. Anything can happen.
I want to say LA Knight, but I know.
And you gotta think about this. Triple H won't be there because of health reasons. He's been out for a while because he had surgery. So
Triple H will return and win the title.
I'm assuming Vince will be there. I'm assuming Vince will be there tonight. So you never know. You gotta think of Vince's head. Who is he like?
You know what? Let's start with a bang. Let's do LA Knight.
I love LA Knight. I do love LA Knight.
He's good, but
I don't think he's gonna win, but I love him. But anyway, so since I forgot to recap
let's do this. If LA Knight wins, I want to vote to give Dom 2 points because I think it's so unlikely. Okay.
Yeah, so
Eric said no. So
yeah, but so I forgot to recap our scores after the All Out review. So we only have scores from SummerSlam and All Out. So we have 19 matches because we didn't count the Bianca Belair Becky Lynch thing. So we have 19 matches. Cody and Dom are tied with 15 points each, and I'm in first with 18 points.
Boo.
It was a big night for me and Pete Dunne fan. The fans of Pete Dunne.
If Kyle O'Reilly wins, you guys are just so screwed in the prediction game. I don't know. I can't really say because I don't know how long we're going to keep the running tally going. But that's going to be a 4-point. That'd be a 4-point lead for me.
So I'm on the NXT's page right now, Twitter page, and B-Fab's making her debut tonight, which I'm excited for. I love her.
All right, then. Any closing thoughts before we head out? Because we already
go Kyle O'Reilly.
Go with
Any
Pete
closing thoughts
Dunne.
on the show?
We
Any
need
closing
points,
thoughts on the
Pete.
show?
It was good. I'm excited that we on Wednesday on ASAP Network we don't have to do 2 hours of wrestling talk because we can just focus strictly on Dynamite. Please watch our top 10 rating, and we might have another video and then maybe do another show on Sunday. I think I don't know. And I'm very excited for SmackDown tonight. Let's build the momentum for Extreme Rules. It was great last week. I'm hoping it's great this week. And I'm just excited for a new brand of NXT tonight. Really am.
Awesome. Anything, Eric, before I head out?
Go Kyle O'Reilly.
LA Knight's winning.